This is Golf 4, November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf Sierra Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. Primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information. And additional information about RAYNET can be found at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls to be made to the net control station unless you're instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name. And if you wish to leave the net immediately, then please call in and out after you check in. If you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear at that time you want to leave the net. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll pause, repeat who I've heard, and if you're not acknowledged, then please do try again, and I will be calling for any strays that missed their turn at the end of the UK stations and at the end of the international section. So, I'll now begin taking check-ins for the RAYNET UK weekly activity net, as usual in call sign number order, starting with stations with figure 8 in their call sign. Please go ahead now. G4 and RC. Over.
Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie. My name is Phil. Very good afternoon, Greg and everybody else on. And in and out, please. In and out. G8KLC.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike. Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform, Bob. Good afternoon, Greg. In and out.
Okay, G4 and RC has got Golf 8 Echo Yankee, who's staying with me. Good afternoon, Mike. And Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, Phil, with Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform Bob, both in and out. Any other rates, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's go for 7. Stations figure 7 in their call time, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg.
Mike 7 Mike Lima Charlie.
G4 and RC, Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, got you. Mike 7 Mike Lima Charlie Martin, got you. Mike 7 Echo Sierra Whiskey, Mike 7 Echo Sierra Whiskey, you called into the RAYNET UK activity period. Are you staying with us? M7 ESW, G4 and RC, over.
Yes, Mike 7 Echo Sierra Whiskey. Yeah, just listening along. I'll stand by.
M7 ESW, say you're just listening then. Okay, I'll not leave you on the call-in list for that then. Okay, any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, that's odd. I was expecting one more, but okay, we'll go for the 6s. Stations figure 6 in that call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Yankee India, Alan, Planet RAYNET, no traffic, in and out, please, Greg. Good afternoon, all.
G4 and RC has Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India, in and out. Thank you, Alan. 7-3's to you. Any other 6s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's have 5. Stations figure 5 in that call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, no 5s. We've only got 1 on the group anyway, so let's go for 4. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
GTM. 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4 HUF.
G4 and RC returning, trying to single figure type. Let's talk. Okay, clearly I got Pete, Golf 4 Delta Tango Mike, and Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. G4KIL, Philip, you were 54% packet loss. Would you like to try again? G4KIL, G4 and RC, over.
G4KIL, yeah, I don't think I'm getting that. Sorry about that, on G4KIL.
G4KIL, you certainly were very loud and clear that time round. 4% packet loss, much improved. Okay, any other 4s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's go for the 3s. Stations figure 3 in that call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel. Christy Winchester, no traffic, in and out. Good afternoon, Greg.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Chris. Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel, who's in and out. Any other 3s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, no more for 3s, so let's have 2. Stations figure 2 in their call signs, specifically including the intermediate 2s. Please go now. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, second call for any stations figure 2 in their call signs, including the intermediate 2s. This is G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's go for 1. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, no 1s. Okay, stations, let's go for Mike 0 stations. Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. Please call now. G4 and RC, over.
Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, Alan.
It's RAYNET, in and out tonight.
Mike 0, Golf Uniform Yankee. Good afternoon, Greg. Mike 0, Mike Zulu, Foxtrot, Jason down in Southampton. Good afternoon, Greg.
Mike 0, Whiskey X-Ray Golf, Shirley in Cornwall, in and out. Thank you, Greg.
Mike 0 India Tango Mike, Andy with Shirley, in and out, Greg. Thank you.
For an RC. Okay, so let's try and write down the list I've got there. Oops, correcting my spelling as I go. Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, congratulations, you're not going to be last on call today. Neil, Mike 0 November Alpha Sierra, in and out. Guy, Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankees with us. Explanation of server changes, please, Guy, we'll come to you. Jason, Mike 0, Mike Zulu Foxtrots, recognised. And then we have Mike 0, Whiskey Zulu Golf, that's not right, Whiskey X-Ray Golf, Shirley, and Andy, Mike 0, India Tango Mike, who are both in and out. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, Philip.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Philip. Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, who just melted my head with your presented ID being different. Okay, good afternoon to you. Right, let's try for Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier. This is G4 and RC, over.
Golf 0, Oscar Zulu Sierra Mobile.
Golf 0, Charlie Foxtrot Bravo, Richard E. Suffolk Raynet, in and out. Thank you, Greg.
G4 and RC, so that's Ian, Golf 0, Oscar Zulu Sierra Mobile, recognised, and then Richard, Golf 0, Charlie Foxtrot Romeo, who is in and out. Any other Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
Can I repeat my call, please, Greg? Is Golf 0, Charlie Foxtrot Bravo, Richard.
G4 and RC. Yes, I was just doing the mind melt of, I've got that wrong again. I've got two guests watching me type the login and nobody's correcting what I'm typing so far. Richard, Golf 0, Charlie Foxtrot Bravo, acknowledged. Thank you. Okay, any other UK stations, who missed their turn to call in, please call now. This is G4 and RC, over.
Golf 7, November Echo Hotel.
JLX, I'm not. There it is. Right, GW0JLX, name is Andy. In and out this afternoon. Greg, please, over.
For an RC, I've got Graham, Golf 7, November Echo Hotel, and then Andy, Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray, with Andy being in and out. Okay, any other UK strays, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, then it's the call for any international liaison stations, usually Aran in Ireland, Nord-Sandland in Norway, Slovak Republic, any other international stations wishing to call in, please go now. G4 and RC, over.
Oscar Mike 4, Alpha Echo India, the name is Peter, no traffic, in and out, please.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Peter, Oscar Mike 4, Alpha Echo India, and acknowledged in and out. So any strays, anybody who's missed their turn to call in, UK or international, final call, this is G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, okay, nothing being heard. So that's 23 stations checked in, if I've got it right. So well over 1% of the RAYNET UK membership. Church notices, reminder the net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NEH, to YouTube. Live stream and recording are available by searching Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G7NEH on youtube.com. And the bad news is the video's fixed, so people watching can see me gaze at two screens and try and run the net today. It is a time-constrained net today, I'm afraid. I need to clear at 16:45 if I've got to have a hope of getting a car parking space at the basketball game I'm going to. So 16:45 is my target cut-off time. The calendars showed a very busy weekend this weekend, with events in Buckinghamshire, North Dufford, Dorset, Derbyshire, Kent, Eastbourne and Leicester. So the event organisers have obviously come out with the daffodils. But as snow is coming to many parts of the country this week, how's everybody planning for the week ahead? And what news have you got for the net? So back to the top of my list, and I'll call on Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee first, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8DEY. Okay, from this end of the world, in sunny Norfolk, which it isn't. It is Norfolk, but it's not sunny. 4 degrees centigrade, 1,014 millibars, 82% relative humidity, 93% cloud cover, and 6.6 miles per hour wind from 303 degrees. When I looked yesterday, yes, we'd got some nice snow on the horizon, but that seems to be diminishing. Although all the evenings and nights this week are going to be sub-zero, which is not nice. We've done 2 lots out of 5 of the signal tests for exercise Acorn already, when the weather was acceptable, because it seemed a good idea to get them ahead of time. And we've also, interestingly, done some tests through GB7DS Repeaters server, run by M0ZAH James. And we've been using 2 times Anytone 878s and using truncated RAYNET UK talk groups, i.e. 84911 for Norfolk. And we've been getting through the server okay. And also, we've done it with 64-bit AES encryption and also gone through using Pi-Star hotspots at each end. So that's an interesting move forwards. From G8EEY.
Right, Echo Yankee, G4 and RC. Right, lots to digest there. Digits is the word I'm looking for. So, fine, copy the weather reports, copy of snow risk diminishing. Yes, the persistent frost this week, though, is going to be a nuisance for some. You're not the only group doing coverage tests for Exercise Mighty Oak. I'm now aware of at least one county in the northwest which will be testing or assisting in the testing of not just their own systems, but the council's own PMR services to stress those. Probably mistyped the call sign of the server. Sorry, the repeater you went through. But interested and just maybe concerned or not, the truncated talk groups using the last 3 digits. I think that's clear in Brandmeister that it's not used anywhere else, but we have had a couple of issues with our extended RAYNET talk group set, which clashes with numbers of talk groups already issued internationally, which can cause some concerns. But Mike, I think we'll be talking a little further about that. And thank you for testing encryption routes that actually work. People do have some opinions that it's not allowed through hotspots or it's not allowed through certain servers. The only one I'm certain of is that Brandmeister don't like encryption going through their system because it is international. We shouldn't encrypt internationally. So to stay compliant with the radio regulations, anything we do encryption-wise must stay within UK borders. Okay, next on my list is Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. Good everyone, everyone. Bit of a change this week. We're coming through directly to the RAYNET server, and I hope it's working. Seems to be okay from this end. And we thought we'd give it a change after just having a chat with Graham G7 and the HS today, and we just changed some settings this end. So hopefully it's working, and we'll go carry on this way into the future. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC. Yes, Dave, loud and clear, no packet loss, no bit error rate, hotspot's working fine. If anybody remembers, AliExpress gate of last week, I think it was, I received my hotspot I ordered from AliExpress. Unfortunately, it was simplex, not duplex. Eventually got a refund of sorts sorted out, but now I've got another simplex hotspot to try and find a use for. No, that's not a prompt on the next round to find out how many hotspots everybody's got, because I think JSA might win beat us on that one. Okay, thank you, Dave. Next to Martin, Mike 7, Mike Lima Charlie, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from Mike 7, Mike Lima Charlie. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Not very much to say apart from the Southwest amateur group is also testing for Mighty Oak. One of the other callers in, Mike 0 MZF, may be able to thicken the soup a bit to give a bit more information about exactly what they're doing. And but we have been doing some testing on 2 meters to find out what our coverage is amongst the RAYNET members in this location, and with a bit of relaying between some that are completely in a dead zone compared to others, we've not done too badly. But as I said, Jason MZF, M0 MZF will probably be able to fill you in a bit more information. Sorry if I've just dropped you in it, Jason. G4NR, Mike 7, Mike Lima Charlie.
G4 and RC returning. Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't think he's dropped in it. It's called teamwork. Okay, good to know that Mighty Oak is pushing people to do some testing. What I've tended to do in the past is use Radio Mobile online to put in some rough guesses for members' equipment, and then use the tests to verify the model and validate the model. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's got its issues, and then when you get asked to do something where you haven't been able to do tests beforehand, then Radio Mobile will give you a, let's call it a 50-50 chance or a 60-40 chance of knowing it will work if you had to ask for something in anger. Okay, thanks for the update, Martin. Next to Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over. For KIL, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nope, nothing heard. Hopefully it's not equipment issues. Next to Pete, Golf 4 Delta Tango Mike, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, Golf 4 NRC, Golf 4 Delta Tango Mike. Very good afternoon to you, Greg, and everyone. Not a lot to report here from, well, not so sunny Northampton. Just finished just about 4 o'clock with rebuilding my internal network, which may have solved all my problems that I was having with the Pi-Star. So hopefully this is going to be a pretty good 100% copy for you. So not done much prep else for this, just struggled to get in on time. So nothing much further. Golf 4 NRC, Golf 4 Delta Tango Mike.
Golf 4 Delta Tango Mike, G4 and RC. Okay, yes, we've got to say improvements in signals. The Brandmeister side of the world says you had 5% packet loss, but it sounded reasonably okay to me, Pete. You have just reminded me, as this net tends to do, I think I've just found the useful extra hotspot to try and set up a bit of a standalone DMR server here for playing with and some experimentation so that we might be able to take this out into the wild rather than being confined to using fixed home networks. So, yeah, there's always a use for something. Right, next to Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. I'm sorry to hear about the laptop issues, Phil. G4HUF, G4 and RC, over.
This is G4HUF. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. And good afternoon to everybody else on the net. And Peter, I hope your eyeballs are recovering nicely at the moment. So, nothing exciting to report, in addition to what you've seen on email, apart from the fact that I'm recovering today, because I went out into the Derbyshire Dales group and helped them out on the John Harris trial yesterday. Very long day, long time on my feet, and boy did I notice it this morning. But apart from that, I don't think there's anything else exciting to add to my report. G4NRC, G4HUF.
4HUF, G4 and RC returning. And it's still exciting, Phil, because you've given me extra prompt to say something. When I did go through the calendar this morning to see who had been working over the weekend, I noticed the Derbyshire events, but just an encouragement to all groups to please log your events in the calendar to help deconflict them from others. But if you're a group helping a main group, remember you can add an event as a assistance, so we get a picture of which events do drag in lots of support from surrounding areas and get a good view of how many hours we're spending as a voluntary group providing services to the country, because it's the kind of statistics that helps go a bit above and beyond saying we do 500 events a year, but if you say it's 500 events a year that involves right, let's make sure he's not been tracked by doubling with others. Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha M0 JSA, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, you cut off towards the end of that. What was where that went? Certainly, our group East Suffolk was out helping Forest Heath last weekend, but Ian, G0OZS, will give you more details on that, I'm sure, if you still can get us as he's out mobile. Yes, hotspots. Yeah, I've got quite a few of them. I've even got one that doesn't work, which is a bit of a blow. But operationally, I've run 2 simplex and 2 duplex at different times. One each of them are on Pi 3s, which is far better than Pi 0s. And I've got one each on Pi 0. I don't have one all the time, all of them. And I've just powered them all up this afternoon, actually, because I've got an email from Guy, probably automated, to say I was using the wrong address. And I thought I'd change that, but obviously I hadn't. So my hotspots are pointing to the old address. Hopefully I'll fix that problem now. Operationally, not much going on here at the moment. We're gearing up for, obviously, the Monty Oak, and we're gearing up for our first event of the year next weekend, but no, new weekend but one. It's a half marathon. Back to you, Greg. G0DUB, M0JS Group.
Or an RC returning. Okay, no, I didn't notice a drop, so apologies if it did drop out. Right, I wondered whether to fight for the extra duplex hotspots with AliExpress, and in the end thought no, because a simplex one will fit into the number of frequencies I've got available, which is the other challenge we have to think about. Server address change is something Guy can now speak about, but I think it's looking like the message has got out nicely, because earlier on in the week we dropped to about 65, 66 connected peers when I looked. We're now back up to more normal 72 connected hotspots. Okay, Guy, Mike Zero, Golf Uniform Yankee, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, M0GUI. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Greg. Yes, I apologise for the bouncing of the server last week or earlier this week, but we are now running in the Amazon cloud on called a T2 medium container, or a virtual host, whatever you want to call it. We've got plenty of headroom. We can't go any smaller, unfortunately. Micro just doesn't cut it. We need the two CPUs to make things work. But we're there. We have an elastic IP allocated, so that means we can scale up, scale down our systems, move things around without changing the IP again, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I do recommend everybody do make sure you have got the right domain name. It should be raynet.m0gui.com in your servers, in your hotspots, to make things right. I did put a very detailed report of what happened, what the progress was, and so forth, to get into the weekly news. The editors got hold of it and chopped it down a little bit to the half line that it was. Makes me feel very Hitchhiker's Guide to say they trimmed it down to mostly harmless going forward. But never mind. If anybody does want the full details, then drop me an email and I will paste you the ins and outs of what's happened and what's going forward. But we are, as I say, now hosted in a more permanent and hopefully a resilient location. So I think all things positive in the end. We also have the YZF reflector back online again. So if people want to use YZF to get into 23531, they are welcome to do so. That appears to be also operational. What else? Out with activities for the endurance race walk yesterday. So yeah, part of those activities as well. All right, that's enough for me for this round, so I shall pass it back to Greg, G4NRC. This is Mike Zero, Golf Uniform Yankee.
Golf Uniform Yankee, G4NRC returning. Okay, thanks for giving up the explanation. The YSF reflector, I'll have to keep an eye on, because I do get the error reports from that when it goes up and down, so might just send you a couple of those just to see if it coincides with work you were doing on the server to bring YSF back into the service. So that's #23531 for those accessed via YSF. Okay, we have 4 stations to go. I'm aware my clock is ticking, so it's to Jason next. Mike Zero, Mike Zulu Foxtrot, G4NRC error.
G4NRC, Mike Zero, Mike Zulu Foxtrot. I'll try and keep it short. Good afternoon, Greg and all in the group, and thanks very much for dropping me in it, Martin. As Martin, Mike 7, Mike Lee and Charlie alluded to, we've been up to a lot recently. I'm currently programming and testing our new fleet of DMR radios from the SSEN grant that Julian G0ERI managed to get us with AES encryption and all that good stuff. We're getting authorization from our user service to run some encrypted tests, and then we'll likely use a combination of hotspots and our local Pheonix repeater GB7 Sierra uniform for that. FM-wise, as Martin said, we've currently been running a local 2-meter net, giving our members some great practice for message passing, particularly Martin, who appears to be the primary bridge between us and one of our other members. So thanks very much for that, Martin, again. And regarding Mighty Oak, it's a little above my pay grade, HI, but we've been doing some testing between the Isle of Wight and ourselves on the mainland. and we're set up to work FM and C4 FM via some talk-through units on our allotted day. I've also been playing around with Easy PAL so we can fire some PDFs between the mainland and the island, which is something the LRF would like us to do. In other news, our group controller Julian at G0ERI has organised a plethora of public service events throughout the year. I think we're currently up to about 8 or 9, so that's going to be good fun. And our WexNet data networking project is also progressing well. Plenty of the services we planned are all up and running now. We're doing some finessing of one of the RF links. One of the sites has been causing us a few issues, but we're having some great success on the RF side, particularly with our longest 20-odd kilometre link to Winchester. So with that rather content-rich and fast over, I'll pass it back to you there, Greg. G4NRC, M0MZF in the group.
Zulu Foxtrot, G4NRC. Yeah, no problem. So nice. Permission from the user service to do testing of encryption means they absolutely know that we can do it, so that there's no arguments in future. So what was there hanging around in that? These are the message handling ones. Yes, we do need to get the perceptions right. I was reading something on the German emergency comms group where they were talking about third-party traffic and how it shouldn't be handled, so it would be the end of the world. Missing, of course, that we pass messages in RAYNET format, which is based on the IARU format, amateur to amateur, pretty much every day of the week. Or certainly that's what I'm doing at the moment, with links to the ARRL National Traffic Service, and it is perfectly okay to do amateur to amateur testing. And once we know we can do that, then it's easy to step up a bit faster and work for the public as well. So we do need to keep the wheels oiled, as it were. Okay, thanks, Jason. Across the water to Philip. Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, MI0, MSO returning. Yeah, and well noticed that I may be presenting as another call sign, so changed the firmware on this radio recently and didn't realise we have to change the ID in several places, but we'll get that done this week. Okay, what's happening over here? Well, our events started in February, and we've about 7 or 8 more events coming up. Marathons, half marathons, triathlons, etc. that our group normally does. Unfortunately, the road racing events that are big over here in Northern Ireland don't look, well, we won't know for another week or 10 days because of insurance and the hike and premiums and whatnot. There may be no road racing events this year for any of the RAYNET groups here, which is unfortunate, but out of our hands. But we do other events. I was inspired by the article in check out the Starlink one, and I have started to progress down that route myself, and to provide a link to the internet for a mesh network we're working on here, but more on that later in the year, and we'll see how that goes. So some of the main events this year may not happen because they're road racing, but all other events are started last month, and we're preparing for our next half marathon in 3 weeks. That's all for now. Back to you, Craig.
G4NRC, returning to Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar. Yes, I'd heard about road racing events, were a bit uncertain. Hadn't gathered it was down to insurance costs, but you are rather rare in the country to be able to do those kind of motor events on public roads and so on. Okay, 2 to go, and then we might have to have a very fast final check round everybody to try and get close to my times. So Ian, Golf 0, Oscar Zulu Sierra, mobile G4NRC, over.
From G0 OZS stroke mobile at Norfolk Tank Museum in Longstratton in Norfolk. So apologies to GNT-EUI for being on his patch. Yes, we had our first activity for East Suffolk members. 4 operators, myself, M0WRB, G7DWN, M7NES. group who had 3 events the same weekend at a 10 and 20 mile run. Fairly quiet event, nothing very exciting happened, but it was good to get on air for the first time this year. And like other groups, we are setting up for Mighty Oak. We have a new antenna, well, practically an old antenna with new connections at the police force headquarters on the eastern outskirts of Ipswich, so we will be looking to set up tests with neighbouring groups on the day. G4NRC, G0ZS, stroke M.
Zero Oscar Zulu Sierra G4NRC. Okay, thanks, Ian. Interesting. Your transmission dropped twice with me for a couple of seconds each, but now there we go. One of my little helpers in the log is typing in what I missed. I presumably heard you more directly. Yes, coordination of all this as we get into March and seeing what different LRFs are wanting is going to be a bit of a challenge, but we'll do what we can. Okay, final one on my list is Graham. Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G4NRC. B7NEH, G4NRC, over. Yeah, nobody else on my blast on the list, but yeah, okay. So last week's net had 23 views and 3 likes, and apologies to anybody who's experiencing any buffering on this week's stream. The stream health doesn't seem to be at its usual standard. I don't know why. Please leave any comments in the comment section. So yeah, that's about it from me. And it looks like I've picked the wrong week to have off. If we're potentially expecting snow, and I know we're going to get cold weather, but I've got plenty to do. And so there we go. I'm in work tomorrow and then off the rest of the week. So with that, back to you. Skip me out the next round, Greg. Not a lot else to add. G4NRC, G7NEH. November Echo Hotel, G4NRC. Okay, thanks, Graham. Yeah, I was just getting a little concerned. My LED light started flickering, which is not a good sign for future health. It seems to have settled down now, though. I wonder if that might be glitching your video stream as well. Okay, we've not tried this for a while, but this is going to be a quick check around for anybody for any final comments, see how quickly it can be done. Remember, in DMR, you might need to leave 6 seconds for your radio to actually unlatch itself and allow you to transmit after everything's dropped. So don't hit the button too early, but let's run around for any final comments. Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. My only comment is to say that don't worry about GB7 Delta Sierra. The server was not linked to that, and it wasn't linked to anybody else online. It runs under Pheonix, so the first 2 digits, 50, was automatically ignored by the system when it came to talk group. So nobody else would have received our encrypted from G8EEY.
I see. Yeah, okay, copied, Mike, thank you. And I've got the call sign correct now and unlinked. It's the kind of thing I'm thinking of testing around here. Right, next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC, over.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC. Yeah, not a great deal to add this end. Nice to hear the fusion side. I'll give that a try next week, and hopefully catch up with you later on after tea for the local group next. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
And Alpha Victor, G4 and RC, yeah, but because I'm at basketball, at least you'll be running the net later, hopefully, so please be on, please give any assistance in relaying needed, but I will still be at the game on the way back from it, so we'll be running the West Cheshire Group net this evening. Thanks, Dave. Next to Martin, Mike 7, Mike Lima Charlie, G4 and RC, over.
G4NRC for Mike 7, Mike Lima Charlie. Thanks very much, Greg. Everything's fine this end. Got nothing else to report, and I hope everybody has a great week. G4NRC, Mike 7, Mike Lima Charlie.
Seems horrendous packet loss there. Golf 4 Delta Tango Mike, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, G4 NRC, G4 DTM. Yeah, all logging today, and thanks for listening, and have a good afternoon at your basketball. G4 DTM, often clear.
G4 DTM, G4 NRC. Yeah, thanks, Pete. And your packet loss seems to be stable around 4%. I think that's what I reported last time round, but perfectly readable. Okay, final from Phil, please. G4HUF, G4 NRC, over.
G4HUF, nothing further from me. 7-3 is all. G4HUF, clear.
G4HUF, thanks, Phil. Talk to you soon. Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 NRC, over.
Yeah, not willing to hold it too long. Thanks for your time, Greg. If you are in need of a duplex hotspot, I'm happy to boost you one. Just drop me an email.
G4 NRC returning. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, I think what I really just need is more time to make some of this stuff work. So I've got lots of bits, not a lot of plans for how to use them all in the best, most efficient way. So thanks for the offer, and 7-3s to you. Next to Guy, Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, M0 GUY. Yeah, nothing else to add. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for running the net, and hopefully you can finish on time. From Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee.
Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee, G4 NRC. No, we're already in overtime, but I'll just have to open the car park. Still got some spaces. It's a shame to cut it short. We're so close. Thanks, Guy. Next to Jason. Mike 0, Mike Zulu Foxtrot, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, Mike 0, Mike Zulu Fox. Yeah, just a brief word to Eric there, Golf India 4 Sierra X-Ray Victor. If you fancy talking about mesh networks, Eric, please do get in touch. We've been playing a lot of that stuff recently. So thanks for running the net, Greg, and back to you. Hope you get off on time. G4 NRC, M0, NZF Group.
Yeah, I think you were looking for Philip, Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, because he is showing a wrong call sign on his system at the moment per his firmware update. So thanks, Jason. All help usefully shared is great. Next indeed to Philip, Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, MI0, MSO. Yeah, it is Philip Jason, and I certainly will be in touch. I'll also be in touch with Guy. Set up a hotspot for the RAYNET server and haven't switched it on, I think, since I set it up, so need to get them changes done. Okay, I'll hold it. Thank you, and 7-3.
India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4NRC returning. Yes, if you've set it up a while ago, you probably have got the wrong server setting inside there, so it might need updating. Okay, 7-3 Philip, thanks for coming on today. Next to Ian, Golf 0, Oscar Zulu Sierra Mobile, G4NRC, over.
From G0ZS Mobile, I'm accessing through the Attleborough repeater GB7ND. I have had a few short dropouts coming towards me as well, so it may be something fairly local. 7-3's all, G0ZS Strickham.
Zero Oscar Zulu Sierra G4NRC returning. That over was loud and clear, no problems. So yeah, it looks like it is a bit of a central issue. Being the bad net controller I am, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima G4KAL. Philip, you're still with us. You didn't call in on the first over. G4KAL, G4NRC over.
And I see G4K. I don't know if I can get in now. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I had problems. A bit of an experiment this way. Thanks for letting us in, and I hope to speak to you next week. So G4K now clear.
G4KAL, G4NRC, no problem, Philip. Your 3% packet loss showing on the Brandmeister side of the world, which is the only metric I've got. Okay, interesting demonstration how the DMR with its hang time isn't the very fast cut in and out method it could be compared to analog, but useful. Thanks, guys, for trying to keep me on to time. And thanks for taking time out to participate in the net today. Be careful, have a good week. And until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK activity period and return the talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 7-3's all. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie now closing and reverting to